Welcome, guys, people of the internet. My name is Rob Not Zombie, and this is being recorded as of September 23rd, 2017. Back with another Clash Royale video, guys. I am still kinda sick. I've been sick since Tuesday. So, if I start coughing during this video, I am very sorry. But, I'm not going to, record this more than once. I wanted to show you, a member of my clan named, Captain Cody. See... Well... Captain Cody and I did a couple of, battles, and he used the same deck, but I think he's actually really good at the game for where he's at. And although he didn't win any of these, he actually came pretty close in some of them. Not this one, 3-1. That was pretty much a domination, but I'll show you all of them. So here's the first one. I used deck 3 out of 5 that I had saved. I used my 3rd, 4th, and 5th decks, so I'll let this play out. So as you can see here, he made a very good starting hand, and this is mainly because I didn't have anything good to counter what he put down with. But after this, and then he placed a great bomb tower there, so I get caught off guard again. And he had a very good starting, but from here out, things don't go as well. As you can see, I have 2 elite barbarians on the tower and a wizard, knocking that down to 46 hit points. I could take that out with my arrows. So, yeah, the counter push didn't go well for him, but he has a freeze, and he's actually not the worst at using a freeze, like when his push is at his last limb, so he can get a little extra bit of damage, which is going to do him well in the early arenas, but that strategy is not going to do well at higher ones. Because at higher ones, you can't be using a freeze for chip damage. It's just not a good elixir commitment. There were a lot of MVPs in each battle, but the main one in these battles was the princess. Because by the time I was playing princesses, I could have like more than one on the field at a time because he didn't have arrows. And in the first 2 battles I had princess and mirror, and in the second one I actually had clone as well because I went for a princess cycle deck, where basically my win condition is get like massive amounts of princesses onto the field to the point where it's not able to be handled. So there goes Tower 2, and this is unfortunately the beginning of the end. See, at this point, I have 4 princesses on the field, and that's a crazy accomplishment. So yeah, you did pretty well. If you notice down there, you got my 2 towers pretty low. My king tower's at about a half HP, so not bad for the comparison of trophies here. That was a pretty good performance. Now here, he could have used the bomb tower a bit better, but I mean, if I were in his shoes, I probably wouldn't have been able to pull it off either. So basically, my deck here is deck 4. It's a princess spam deck. Just get as many princesses onto the field at once, cycle through your cards as fast as possible. And this deck was absolutely perfect for his. Because he did not have arrows, zap, he did not have log, he didn't have the best counters to the princess. The only remotely good counter he had was the bomb tower. He had a lot of tank cards, though. Unfortunately, those were probably not used as well as they could have been. Like here, that bomb tower is a good placement, except for that princess down there can shoot it when it's out of range. So as you can see, I play cards even when I don't need to in this deck. Basically, I want to get as many princesses on the field at one time as fast as possible. Because the faster you get those princesses down, the less well your opponent can deal with it. And a good thing to do is to get a bunch of princesses mirrored down and then use the clone spell. Or you can mirror the clone spell. And then he freezes that. I put another princess down. And I'm going to put a rage spell down for the goblins as well as the princesses. And look at that damage. That is something not easy to come back from. Even with the bomb tower there, that's going to do some serious damage. All the way below 1,000 hit points. Now, for what he's up against, he's actually doing really well on that tower. I actually was kind of afraid of losing that tower at this point. And I actually did lose the tower, I remember now. He played an excellent freeze. That kind of freeze, Cody, will be an extremely good play, even in later arenas. You just have to be prepared for more than one little defense. And look at that, 8 princesses. That's enough princesses to take down that baby dragon before it can do anything. And then this is it right here. That's 10. It's 9. That's 10 princesses. A bunch more princesses, all coming for those towers, and that giant skeleton is not going to distract fast enough. He did take one tower though, and I'm very impressed with how he did. Now this final one, I actually kind of went easy on him towards the end, because I wanted to kind of drag this one out to see how long I could hold off for, but eventually I kind of made the mistake of putting down too much at once, and I thought he was going to counter what took his tower down, but instead he countered on the other side, and yeah. Once again, the princess was MVP. Yeah, right here was quite possibly Cody's finest hour. Now, that's not a great freeze, because that tombstone is going to be the least of your worries. In fact, the freeze shouldn't have even been played there. So, Lumberjack, an extremely good defensive card if you have him. He's great against tanks that aren't backed up by anything. Even golems, he can quickly take them down if he's unopposed. Now, that's not always the case, but even if he does die, he gives a rage spell, which is an invaluable asset if you have more than just him defending. So here, I'm going to go on a two-pronged approach. And I have enough elixir for a Valkyrie there to distract the giant skeleton. And this is why the giant skeleton isn't used that much. He's too easy to distract, and it's too much of an investment. But if you use him right, he can be used to stop an actual push in its tracks. Such as, oh, I don't know, a lot of medium health units. And here is a pretty good free spell, except he missed the tower. I wouldn't have focused so much on the wizard, but I would have gotten him in there. Still, he got a good amount of damage there. That was a good play by him. Could have been better, but it was pretty good. So right here, I almost didn't get the tombstone down in time. I had to place it a little further left. Fortunately, it still countered that prince. So he's going to play a hog rider. I wasn't prepared for a hog rider because I was about to put down a princess. So he got some great damage, even some baby dragon splash damage onto that tower. And right now, he has taken the lead. He's got a decent lead here. So basically, I'm on the back pedal for just a little bit. But right here, he doesn't... Well, actually, yeah, he does. I put a lumberjack down, and that's going to be enough to actually take down that giant skeleton with the princess's help. And look at that. That was unfortunate. Princess was even able to get a shot off on the prince, which really didn't matter. The prince would have gone anyway. And that was just a bad freeze. I'm sorry, Cody. You don't freeze like a group of you don't freeze any skeletons, actually. You'd probably be better off taking less tanks. Like, the giant skeleton is good, but having, like, him and a balloon and the hog rider, it's a bit too much of an offensive push. You don't need all of that at once. It's too hard to get down without your opponent countering it. And if your opponent counters all of that, you're going to be in for a real bad time when all your units are destroyed and the defending units start coming over your side and you have no elixir to defend with. So I foolishly played a lumberjack there. I actually thought that rage spell was going to help, but he put down a minion horde, a great move by him. I mean, I probably would have put down maybe a baby dragon. That probably would have done it. It would have been risky. But it would have costed a lot less. Right here, that's a decent bomb tower. But again, well, considering what he had, that was probably his best move. And here, I would have most definitely played a giant skeleton. But he played a minion horde, and it kind of cost him the game. And right here, he could have probably saved himself, but he didn't. He was too afraid of the peck on the other side. So he was put in a bad situation at the end of that game. There was one or two things he could have done to make it better, but in the end, it probably wouldn't have changed the outcome. But he did very well for himself, and Cody, if you're watching this, you've got potential. Just keep going, kid. You've got this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye!